The Crooked Epic, 1, The Inn of Maniacal Madness, 8, Alex, The Boat, 8D, 2. Alex's sleepless, depressed resting was interrupted. Tempests of the windstorm shuddered through shattered door frame. Loosely bolted hinges against the worn walls of the cabin rung, and howling winds swept across the floor and between rough boards. As the tempest persisted, Alex imagined he heard the howls of the inn's unseen coyote, and his body shivered in the cold cellar. With a clattering roof overhead, Alex reached the trap door of the shelter with his teeth chattering in the battering gusts which blew into the leaky foundation. When he had crawled out of the hole, he looked up in the dark space of the room and saw a whirling dust tornado forming from the ground outside the open door. He fell back against the wall as the giant twister grew around the house and watched as it unnaturally entered through the door into the cabin and spun itself around the floorboards and chased him out. Alex stumbled in the furious winds which swept dirt and small stones and pebbles off the ground of the deserted field. He ran across the plateau and fell into a puddle, fortunately avoiding colliding into small cactus plants just a few feet away. Covering his face with his hands, he started to pray for this storm to end. Instead, he felt rocks pelt his body, and the powerful winds covered him up to his neck with mud and dirt until he could barely breathe. After an hour had passed, Alex was able to finally move his hands and arms, freeing them from his sand-trapped position under the blown debris. He lifted himself out of the ground he had been partially buried under, and sorely rolled onto his side, coughing out dirt from his mouth. A chill crawled down Alex's spine. His resuscitation was short-lived, as he soon heard the hissing and snarling of the old woman behind him coming from out of the cabin. He turned, too late. He saw an old witch who bore a resemblance to the rat lady from the church in Hob. She was clothed in black, ragged robes over tattered garb, and was skinny and sick-looking, with discolored, scarred skin and a wrinkled, grimacing face. The woman came running at Alex, who barely could withdraw the gun in time to shoot her as she came within 20 feet. She fell from the gunshots in her upper abdomen and screamed demonically, writhing in pain before finally letting out her last gasp of breath. The affray was enough to put Alex into a stunned shock as he lost hope of ever escaping the imposed madness of this cursed land. As the light returned to the sky on the plateau, Alex finally stood to his feet and walked past the two dead bodies of the witch and Van Helsing toward the location where the cabin had been. Instead, a small fane or temple blurred into his sight. It had replaced the broken cabin, but was no less frightening. The fane was slightly more extensive, and as Alex approached it, he saw two sitting figures inside. The gateway to the main room of this alien temple was shaped like a dragon's mouth, its curled tongue becoming two carpets laying down the short stairway. A rush of cold air yanked him forward, and his vision darkened more. First, the boy who looked like Darren came down the front steps with undone, bloodshot eyes. Alex took another shot into Darren's head and continued walking up to the steps of the building. Then Alex's own double stood and walked across the fane's floor and through the gateway toward the brother. Alex shot at him too and started up the stairs. As he dauntlessly entered the temple's room, Motu and Toro stepped from opposite sides of the doorway, left and right, hidden from Alex's view. Draken appeared in front of an altar in the center, but before he could shoot again his last bullet, he fainted. Suddenly, Alex emerged in the cave above his house in Weir, trapped within a wall of the catacomb where water dripped down into a pool and remnants of a large, strange, burned animal surrounded him. His biological processes remained suspended by the imbalance of Ear. The land of Hob, the grip of Draken over this dimension, and the magic of the Pandora's boxes were all becoming dangerously weakened.